Hi folks, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. I'm Luke at Evetts Model Shop in Santa Monica, California. And once again, the folks at Traxxas were nice enough to send us an early release of their latest vehicle. This is the TRX4 Sport. In total, it's the fourth iteration of the TRX4. We had, at first, the TRX4 was released with the Land Rover body, and the TRX4 was released with the tactical unit body, I believe, after that, and then a Bronco body, like a second generation Bronco body. Pretty cool, all of them. This one is aimed squarely at people who dig on the idea of the TRX4, but it's a more traditional approach to a crawler. No multiple speeds, no locking differentials, they're all full-time locked. And there are a few other differences we're going to address, of course, like the body's different, everything like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Now Steve and I have a running bet to see if I can ever open up an RC car box in one of these videos and have the car be right side up. So let's see here. Box art looks to be right side up. Could this be the time? Alright, get our X-Acto out again. I believe this one is blue. Well, I'm relatively certain this one is blue unless the box is wrong. So let's see. We got it. Oh man, it's right side up. This is already off to a great start. I can't wait to see what we're working with here. So let's go ahead and roll this sucker out. There we are, ladies and germs. The TRX4 Sport out and in its natural habitat. So we got this clear kind of protective bag over the body. Pull the pins. Let's get this bag off here real quick. Oh, and in addition to that, kind of similarly to the way they prepped the other TRX4 iterations bodies, the licensed ones, and the tactical unit, which was the only other unlicensed body besides this one, they have these kind of protective film on here to keep it nice for you. Keep it nice in transit, so wherever it ends up in the world, and I know a lot of you are watching from other places, which I do appreciate, as well as those of you at home. Wherever it ends up in the world, it will come to your door looking very much like this. Unless, of course, you order the red one, in which case, it'll be red. At least let's hope so. You have a look there. It has a really cool kind of semi-generic pickup truck body. It reminds me of kind of Toyota meets Nissan, sort of. Definitely Japanese mid-sized truck. Maybe Tacoma sort of a vibe. Gets the point across. It's got its tow hooks, plastic bumpers, cool scale features, but as the name suggests, this is the Sport. So, like we talked about earlier, it's aimed more at an audience that's into the capabilities, but not maybe so much into something that's quite so expensive out of the box. And we got that out of the way. Let's pop this off of here and have a look. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you that this looks a lot simpler. Another way of saying that, I guess, maybe not as positively, is sparser. There are features here that aren't accounted for on this particular iteration of the TRX4 due to the fact that it's the Sport model. And right off the cuff, I can tell you that it's without those three servos that the TRX4 uses. The TRX4, the original, uses two servos, one to lock the front differential, one to lock the rear differential. And it also has a servo that switches the transmission gears between like a granny gear, crawler gear sort of thing, and more of a cruiser gear. Interesting to note that while this has the single speed transmission, the single gear that's in this is basically, it splits the difference between the two gears in the original TRX4. So it's not the granny gear, super slow speed from the original TRX4, nor is it the faster cruiser gear. And according to Traxxas, this will still pop plenty of wheelies with the 3-cell power. It still has the same speed control and motor setup as the TRX4, I guess, Ultimate Edition, whatever it is you might want to call it at this point, if this is the Sport. That's the XL5HV. HV is a nice little acronym that stands for high voltage. So even though this is a brushed power system, and even though this is an XL5, it can take a 3-cell battery for that extra performance you might be into. I personally really like the battery bars on these for your high capacity batteries. That'll flip right over for you for whichever setup you happen to be doing. I like it. It's pretty convenient. It's got some nice wheels and tires on it. They appear to be different from any of the other iterations of the TRX4. The tactical one has the CTIS style wheels. The Range Rover, Land Rover one, they had different wheels on it. And then the Bronco, of course, had some chrome on it. These are simpler, more kind of more reserved, black plastic. More reserved is a good way to put like the style of the body and the wheels in general on this truck. Faux winch up in the front with a sticker on there to represent like kind of the detail of it. The bumper looks to be a little bit different from the other iterations as well. The steering servo is your Traxxas 2075, so it shares its steering servo with all the other TRX4s. It's got this kind of red differential housing cover on it, and the differentials are full-time locked, but it does retain the portal axles and 4-link setup that uses a panhard bar in the front end from all the other TRX4s. So in that way, it's basically identical. From underneath, you'd almost be hard-pressed to tell them apart, although the differential housings do look to be a little bit smaller, because in addition to the fact that this doesn't come with the locking differential servos, it also doesn't come with lockable differentials in the front or rear. There will be a kit available that can switch this whole thing over to lockable differentials. Traxxas will have that kit available for people that might want to do that upgrade later, as well as a 2-speed conversion kit to get it to the spec of the original TRX4 if somebody might want to do that later. Also, of course, you would have to upgrade to the TQI radio. That's the 4-channel setup with the 3-position switch on the top of it, and you got your rocker switch for the little thumb position that's on it. So if you're into this truck and these are the capabilities you're looking for, this is a great choice. I haven't seen a price point for it yet officially, but I'm sure it's going to be significantly less expensive than the original TRX4. Also, well, the chassis rails are still steel, so that's the same. You got that going on. So, well, like I was just saying before I lost my train of thought, like I was telling cameraman Steve before we started this video, if you're into the capabilities that this truck has and you're looking for just a simple straight up crawler experience with the high ride height and everything like that the portal axles afford, and I know a lot of you guys, axial guys and everybody like to hate on the portal axles, but they are advantageous, there's no doubt about it. They're a lot of fun. It's a really cool truck. They're going to be keeping the price point low by omitting some of those more expensive features that require servo actuation and a more in-depth radio system in order to operate. Another plus to this is that mechanically and electrically it is a lot simpler. So just to prove that point, I'm going to set this guy here, and we happen to have a copy. We got a little dust on the tires of this one. I like to take this guy on camping trips. This is my personal TRX4. This was an early release that Traxxas sent us whenever that came out. What was it, about a year ago? We did a video on this one too, which was fun and cool. So when we look at these two guys, they do have the same tires. They do not have the same wheels. This is kind of a split spoke style. And of course, Steve, if you get in there and look, just like I was saying, the power systems are the same. The bumpers are different. Suspension's the same. If you look down at the differentials, you can see that these guys here have a little bit of linkage going into them. That's for your lockers. So this does have the front and rear lockable differentials, which are engaged at the moment. And a lot of other things are the same. There's your twin servo bank here that operates the front and rear differential lockers like we talked about. And there is the servo that operates your 2-speed, none of which are present on the TRX4 Sport. So, if you'll excuse me for just one moment, keep filming those, Steve. Let's get this going on so far as the way they look. The original TRX4 in all its glory, with all its features and all the money you have to spend on them and all the work you may have to do to them should any of them fail. And the TRX4 Sport, simpler, definitely noticeably lighter, I'll say that about it, and undoubtedly cheaper when the time comes that these become available. Alright, so there they are. There's the radio for this guy. And just in case I forgot, which I obviously did, here's the radio. That was in there. Here is the radio for the Sport. So when we stand here for a second and compare the two radios, the 2.44 channel being right here that goes to this truck, with the rocker switch on the top, multi-menu switches, multi-function knob, and a rocker switch for your thumb, and the much simpler TQ radio. This is a 2-channel radio, just throttle and steering, and that's all she wrote. Of course, semi-programmable, but nothing really too fancy. So I hope this will help you guys make your decision if you're into the TRX4 and you're into a little bit of info on this latest iteration that Traxxas has going on. It promises to be a really fun truck, and like we talked about, just to reiterate, significantly less expensive, cool features, cool capabilities. I'm really anxious to try it out. Thank you folks so much for joining us, and I hope you'll check us out again soon. And in the comments, if you don't mind, let me know what you think about this latest thing. And would it be something you're interested in? Do you prefer the original TRX4, or do you think they're on the right track with this, like, kind of, I don't want to say light duty, but definitely, well, sport edition, just like the name suggests, of the TRX4. What you guys think? Is this a cool strategy? I'm curious. Thanks anyway for joining us, and thank you so much. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.